Hello and welcome to this video. So today I thought we could kickstart this long, I think it's 7-day world quest with the island. God, I can't even remember the name of it now. I'm really bad at remembering the names of the Inazuma Islands. But we're gonna fix this island's problem basically over the next week. So yeah, let's get on. You cannot afford to delay any longer. Almost everyone has been evacuated now. Is this not the perfect time to sort everything out? Mind your own business. Tatara Suna's safety and the smithing operations are our business. Don't you have shrine duties to attend to? Or are you trying to tell me that metalwork is under the authority of the Grand Narukami Shrine now? Don't you lecture me. You really think I'd be here talking to you if I didn't have to be? It's because you aren't doing your job. The Tataragami's influence is now being felt even by the sacred Sakura at the Grand Shrine. That's the only reason Lady Miko sent me out here, to exorcise it. What? How is that possible? The Grand Narukami Shrine is nowhere near here. You are far too dismissive of the Tatarigami's power. Praise be to the mighty Electro Archon, the Tatarigami core has proven useful. It can be used as an unlimited energy source. How convenient. You think that's as far as the issue with the Tatarigami goes, do you? A problem arises with Tatara Suna's Mikage furnace, and as far as you're concerned, the most pressing issue is a temporary halt in production? Right. The fact that we've had to halt production is damaging the war effort. This is the most critical issue of all. Ugh, forget it. I'm only here to deal with the Thunder Sakura issue anyway. You may not like what I have to say, but I urge you to be more vigilant in how you're handling this. You brought in experts from Fontaine to work on the Mikage furnace, yes? Most of them have already left, but unless I am mistaken, one engineer has stayed behind for equipment maintenance. What's stopping you from approaching him? You must mean Javier. He already approached me, and he and I had a conversation. But the one managing the maintenance of the Mikage furnace is Sir Hanbei, and he isn't here. Beyond that, I don't have the authority to divulge any further information. I'm not sure quite how you pronounce his name, by the way. If it's Javier or Xavier. Like, I've seen it said both ways, I think. I'll probably look it up after I've done this and regret not looking it up before, but you'll just have to put up with me saying it how I'm going to say it for this episode, and then next time. That Hanbei? Never mind. This isn't getting me anywhere. Since you place such great emphasis on authority, then let me put this to you in those terms. If this situation deteriorates any further, you can expect to be visited by someone with the authority to take this out of your hands. As much as I appreciate the unsolicited advice, you don't need to worry yourself about this. Once Sir Hanbei gets back, I'll report the situation to him. Until then, forgive me for abiding by the rules, but I can't tell you anything else. Those two seem to be arguing about something. Things are quite tense. Paimon thinks they mentioned something about the Mikage furnace. Maybe something's happened to this island. Let's go ask those two over there. How did it come to this? What's this Mikage furnace that you guys were talking about earlier? You're an outlander, aren't you? You got some terrible luck to have travelled to Inazuma at this time. That island is called Tatara Suna. There we go, Tatara Suna Island. It's a smelting plant for jade steel, which is used to forge weaponry. Are you aware of the legends of Inazuman swords? The jade steel manufactured here is the reason that Inazuman swords are as sharp and durable as they are. So it's a weapon material. No need to worry. This can hardly be called confidential military intelligence. After all, the Tenryo Commission feels that having the ability to forge powerful weapons is something they should flaunt. A few years ago, for the purpose of expanding production capacity, they hired a team of consultants from Fontaine. They built the Mikage Furnace, a machine that can fully harvest the powers of the Tatarigami. We've warned them countless times not to let their guard down when it comes to the Tatarigami, but they decided to go ahead with the project anyway. After the Mikage Furnace started production, most of the consultant team returned to Fontaine. Only Javier, who we just mentioned, stayed behind in Inazuma. But during one of the previous battles, something went wrong with the furnace. The part that stored the corrupt Tatarigami energy became extremely unstable. Work was halted in Tatarasuna and everyone was evacuated shortly after. Javier took emergency action, and he seems to have set up a containment dome around the Mikage furnace. It's only a temporary solution, though. He's probably still on the island now, trying to figure out a way to solve the problem for good. Meanwhile, the Shogunate is only concerned about restarting production as soon as possible. I hear they're even considering calling the consultants from Fontaine back again. But I don't think they'd be willing to come under the current conditions in Inazuma. And it just has to be that Hanbei guy in charge of this whole thing, doesn't it? Who's Hanbei? Manager, you could say. Always going on about procedures, articles, and applications. His first reaction is never to find the solution to the problem. Instead, it's about what forms should be filled out, and which powerful individual needs to be informed about the incident beforehand. He's probably in the city right now, preparing to submit whatever forms he can find. I really don't know if he's actually aware of the severity of the situation. I just hope that Javier or a craftsman can find some way to solve the problem. If something were to go wrong with the Tatarigami out inside the Mikage furnace, well, if that happens, you should probably leave the island. Well, that's a little concerning. Is there something I can help you with? What's all this Mikage furnace and Tatarigami talk? It's just a small problem. We need a little time to sort it out. You're an adventurer, aren't you? This place isn't suitable for you or your ilk. Get out of here. Rude, honestly. This all sounds pretty serious. It'll affect our adventures for sure. Why are we being so selfish here? I'm more worried about the island than the people who used to live there. That's true. But didn't she mention that someone named Javier is trying to find a solution? Why don't we go and take a look? It'd put our minds at ease if we could help take care of this, wouldn't it? Okay. Hop on over. See if we can find this Fontaine engineer, I guess. Is he an engineer? He's an expert. And he probably wears a hat. Yep, there it is. It's hopeless. Hello, are you Javier? That's right. Javier's the name and the name's mine. But is it fate fair or foul that we should meet at this time and place? Pray tell, fine lass, who are you? I'm here to help out. To help out, you say? I say, from the looks of your attire, we two are fellow Inazuma files on a pilgrim of passion. A rare pleasure, my friend. Well, an interesting man. I must say I'm touched by your kind intentions, but I must also apologize for being frank in saying that I don't believe there is any help you can offer. On the way here, did you happen to see a protective cover that looks like a bubble? No, I didn't. Oh, okay then. No, that makes sense. The containment dome's not usually visible. If you want to view it from a distance, you have to employ a specific observation technique. Elemental sight, maybe? So how do you do it? Not with my eyes, that's for sure. I view it by availing myself of this work, the Mikage Furnace Emergency Response Procedures Trial Version. I followed the instructions to the letter. Based on the readings given by the instrument, it seems that the dome has been successfully activated. One other thing I should mention is that, technically speaking, its official name is the Mikage Furnace Emergency Containment Dome. Now, as for the Mikage Furnace, please give me the short version. Basically, it's a super smelter built using Fontaine technology, powered by a Tataragami core brought over from Yashiori Island. Due to the impact of the war, the Mikage furnace is now in an extremely unstable state. But whatever happens, I've now sealed it following the Mikage furnace emergency response procedures trial version. So the problem is almost certainly contained to a certain extent. To a certain extent? Well, it might be 893 pages long, but the trial version has no information on the emergency measures applicable in a wartime scenario. We need to form an editors group for a trial version expanded edition, first issue, and have a detailed discussion on additional emergency scenarios. Anyway, point being, even though I've followed the emergency response measures, they aren't the most complete, and the environment within the containment dome has turned, less than ideal, shall we say. The Mikage furnace has now ceased operation indefinitely, and that soldier is getting incredibly antsy about it. Allegedly, Miyuki recently borrowed some of his people to arrange for the evacuation of the civilians. Now that really got him riled up. But if things continue like they are, who knows? Tatara Suna might just turn into a glorious firework visible all the way from my dear home, the beautiful town of Petrichor. Could it really get that bad? In the worst case scenario, yes it could. We've not reached that stage, but if it gets that serious, you'll look to the procedures for further guidance? Precisely. But considering it mostly deals with insurance claims and lawsuits and the like, I was rather hoping it wouldn't come to that. Recently, though, the instrument is indicating that the containment dome I activated is a little unstable, but I don't know what or where the problem is. Back in my beautiful homeland of Fontaine, we would normally have a vision-wielding expert diagnose the problem. Then we would form a dedicated review panel to discuss and raise proposals, approve a solution, then organise the remedial work. But with the Inazuma being the way it is right now, all I can do is try to determine what might be going on through naked eye observations and my imagination. In short, you're taking a best guess. Best guess? My dear girl, please. That is a woefully inadequate representation of what goes on. A fairer description would be observation and inference drawing on a wealth of professional experience, including analogous previous cases. That word was a struggle, apparently. Analogous. There we go. Okay, so an educated guess. Precisely. So my guess is that it could conceivably, potentially, possibly, probably be an issue with the device containing the Tataragami core that is having a knock-on effect on the containment dome I installed. But even if that's the case, the readings given by this instrument seem off. Something must have happened outside the dome as well. So you're lacking someone capable of investigating? Yes, that's it. Under the current circumstance, in the area around the Mikage furnace, only a vision bearer would be, well, safe. Anyone else would probably make it around 3 paces. Except for me, I'm a special case. I'd have croaked about halfway through taking my first step. In short, if we only knew what exactly was going on with the Mikage furnace, I'd likely be able to formulate a repair plan, but we'd still need a review panel to approve it. Wait, it would only take one person to fulfill the function of a review panel. Aha! So we're all set. I can go investigate for you. Huh? But it doesn't look like you have a vision. I have my ways. Is that so? Alright, you've swayed me. It's not technically proper procedure, but we shan't achieve anything by just sitting on the issue. And I suspect that if we left that soldier to handle it, his report would still be sitting in his superior's chest of drawers, gathering dust as the island was being blown sky high. Roasted, got him. Let me pack up here, then we'll head off. In any event, we need to get close to the Mikage furnace to get a better idea of the situation. Perhaps you could go and investigate the surrounding area while I'm packing up. These strange readings must have something to do with whatever's happening in the Mikage furnace. Pack up? Has that been approved by a review panel? Got him. Actually, as representative of the present review panel, I've already granted myself authorization to pack up and strike camp, so no need to worry about that. Okay. Let's go do some observation, shall we? To the Statue of the Seven. Oh, there's some dudes.
Frozen. Crisp.
Hey! Let's come at me! Can't run! Well, looks like this went too far.
Well. Observation complete. We'll hop back up to the statue. Just to heal up.
What's one more?
I see everything. With all my strength. Yeah. Huh? Hi? Huh? Huh. I'll protect us. Don't be scared.
Like this.
Okay. Oh. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. To go through. Went that way, right? Oh god. Oh no, I got it. Investigation complete. Okay. Down to the next area. Another rift. Was there a plant for me? There's one. That's close enough, I'm sure. There we go. Okay, so the rifts are dangerously big. Let's make our way over to talk to him again. Phew, the situation looks stable at least. The situation with the Mikage furnace? Yes, indeed. From my observations, the internal build-up of Tatarigami energy doesn't seem too high. The reason I initially activated the dome was to stop people from going inside, mostly because of the legal liability it puts on us. Basically, if too much energy accumulates inside, then this dome is completely useless. Ahem. Heh. The main thing here is that everything's looking good right now, so it's happy days. No need to pore over mundane details at this point. So how is the dome looking? It's got 3 rifts in it and a whole load of fatui. Rifts. Wait a moment. Fatui? What are those sly Snezhnayans doing all the way out here? Whatever it is, it's connected to the Mikage furnace. You really think so? If they're the cause of the issues, that really complicates things. Goodness gracious, how could this be happening? I'm just a humble engineer. I only wanted to come here to do a little research, do some filming, get a taste of Inazuma's delightful culture, etc. How did I go from that to being caught up in this whole mess? It began as a simple technical issue, then that soldier turned up, and all of a sudden it's somehow a process issue. Then, somewhere during said process, it transforms again into an Inazuman domestic affair that Outlanders are strictly prohibited from interfering in. And now the Fatui are here. If it goes on like this, the nature of this problem is going to change quite radically indeed. I sympathize with you. You've had a similar experience before, drawn into a messy situation that fundamentally has nothing to do with you whatsoever. That's unfortunate. Story of our life. Whatever. I'm here now, and I'm the only person capable of resolving the issue with the Mikage furnace. Technically, ignoring it would be a compliant decision both in terms of process and in terms of who has jurisdiction over it, but I can't just leave it unresolved. Perhaps I just need to accept that for a researcher this is just the way life is. Or, as we say in Fontaine, c'est la vie. If the Fatui are really here to try and get their hands on the Tatarigami energy inside the Mikage furnace, then the containment dome should be a major stumbling block to their plans. Were those rifts also? Indeed. There is no doubt in my mind that the Fatui are at least tangentially related to those rifts. I see. So it's those cracks in the containment dome that are causing my instruments to give those anomalous readings. I must say, they are very stealthy. They managed to make it all the way here, damage the dome, and access the inside of the Mikage furnace without anybody finding out. The Fatui are good at acting in the shadows. If that's the case, there's a real possibility here that they've already made it inside. What if they destroy the Mikage furnace? Are the Fatui really so reckless? If it exploded, they would share the same fate as everyone else. I wouldn't put it past them. Dear me, they are truly daring. First things first, we must find a way to scare them off. Give me a moment to think. I've got it. Since they decided to sneak inside the Mikage furnace quietly, it must mean that they wish to avoid a direct confrontation with the shogunate. So all we need to do is make some sort of big dramatic gesture to make them think that the shogunate is already onto them. That might just make them more cautious in their approach, which will make our investigation much easier. Dramatic gesture? Do you know of the Kamuijima cannon? It's a big gun built using the latest technology, powered by electro. The shogunate had a few of them installed on this island for military purposes, since this is where the front line was, but as the war went on, things changed, and now they're currently sitting there unused. Things changed? What exactly? You'd have to ask our soldier friend, but I'm sure he'd only tell you that he's not at liberty to disclose classified military intelligence. If you want my take, I think the Shogun's army underestimated the sophistication of their enemy. They installed the Kamuijima cannons, hoping to halt Sangonomiya's advance with overwhelming firepower. But although the Kamuijima cannon does indeed pack quite the punch, it has a limited field of fire and is not very mobile. Most importantly, big artillery guns like these need several people to operate them, and maintenance is a real headache. Trying to defend the Mikage furnace and the Kamuijima cannons at the same time meant that our soldier friend and his comrades were spread much too thinly. So ultimately, it actually gave Sangonomiya an opportunity. After making it past the Kamuijima cannons, Kamuijima cannon's field of fire, they quickly took down the forces guarding the Mikage furnace. Before the Shogun's army could get emergency reinforcements to the Mikage furnace, they had already withdrawn from there and started attacking from a different direction. Constantly being dragged back and forth kept the shogunate's forces fully occupied, so when the Mikage furnace started having problems, they were forced to halt production. Meanwhile, the Kamuijima cannons installed in the wild became essentially useless against the kind of tactics employed by Sangonomiya's side. Suffice it to say that as far as the fight on this island went, Sangonomiya had the upper hand. So did Sangonomiya damage the Mikage furnace? I don't think so. You should be well aware that the Tatarigami sealed inside wouldn't treat Sangonomiya or the shogunate any differently from each other if the Mikage furnace was destroyed. All they want is to continually harass and attack the Mikage furnace to be a nuisance to the shogun's army and slowly wear them down. I wonder who it is that is planning all these precise attacks from Sangonomiya's side. Well, that's enough chit-chat. Whatever the case, the Kamuijima cannon will definitely cause an unimaginable ruckus, which is just what we need. And as a result of some miraculous coincidence, I actually know how to operate the cannon. It's tech from Fontaine again, isn't it? Well, I won't get deeper into it, but we do have other technologies besides just maintaining and producing equipment. Are we going to fire at the furnace directly? As I've said before, the containment dome is meant for stopping people from entering. The fatui have already broken through. That much you've seen with your own eyes. Though it may seem like it's just a few small tears, the truth of the matter is that the dome is actually barely holding up. If they're left unchecked, even if the Mikage furnace is alright, they'll definitely find other ways to cause problems. If we don't destroy the dome, we'd have to go through the 3 tears that the fatui made to repair the Mikage furnace. We'd be fish in a barrel for those fatui to shoot. But if we destroyed it altogether, not only would it shock the fatui and provide us with an advantageous opportunity, it would also allow for us to have more routes to choose from. Besides, if we can repair the Mikage furnace in time, everything will return to normal even if we do destroy the containment dome. Have a little faith in me, and in the marvellous technology of my homeland Fontaine. Come, let me mark the locations of the Kamuijima cannons for you on your map. Don't we need to prepare some projectiles? Normally we would, and the cannons uses a very special type of projectile. That's why the shogunate is so lax about leaving these huge cannons in the wild. But as I've said before, I happen to know how to operate this sort of cannon. What I also know is how to make use of electro to bypass our projectile-related limitations. But since neither of us have a vision, if we're able to get hold of some stable elemental power, we should go ask the treasure hoarders if we might borrow a few of those curious small bottles in which they seal some. Just leave it to me. Then on behalf of our special review board, I will be entrusting you with this task. I'm confident that we will make a wonderful team. Oh, okay. Right. So we have a map of the cannons. We'll go to this one first. Yeah, I believe. I think I see it. I think I can just climb up here without any trouble. I don't like Inazuman cliffs because they have so many overhanging parts to stop you from climbing halfway through. think you have to be... Oh. Okay. You have to be afflicted with Electro. There we go. Okay. Right. So, we have to aim. I'm not very good at this, as you may remember from the other time we've had to use a cannon. Let's see how that does. Okay. To the left and to the up, I think. I never know quite the elevation of where. There we go. Not so bad. Okay, next one. We'll go for the middle one now. Okay, where is it? I straight up can't see where we're going for. Oh, is it up there? On the left? I think that's it. See how that goes. A bullseye. Was the other one where the other waypoint is? Yeah. Go. I think that's it there. Gonna be honest, I just wanted to see if I could kill them. Oh no, now they're mad at me.
Cheap tricks.
God damn.
Everyone hold hands.
Ow. Don't you hurt me.
Positions.
I don't really know why I did that.
You win.
Should have known.
Very
Oh well. Okay. I'm carrying an electric ray now. Okay, there we go. Let's try that. I think that might be too high. Oh no, I'm just amazing. Damn. I wasn't expecting it to shatter. Reloading. Have you teleported me back? Okay. You're back. My, that was loud. My eardrums are still ringing. After hearing the cannons, the fatui will most certainly suspect that the shogunate has become aware of their activities. Still, something seems off here. Why hasn't Tatarigami energy begun to leak out after the containment dome was destroyed? Could it be that some of the Mikage furnace's systems are still operational and have already purified some of the energy? Or perhaps the fatui are collecting that energy. Whatever the case may be, please take this opportunity to go and find out. Watch out, it's the fatui. Where?
Don't be a killjoy! We've only just begun!
Here! I see everything!
Miscalculated.
Let the show begin.
Honestly expected that to take longer. Goodness me, they don't beat about the bush, do they? Looks like they do have their eyes set on this place. Seems like their target is Tatarigami energy, which is within the Mikage furnace. Go check up on the status of the storage device inside the Mikage furnace while the fatui are distracted by all this ruckus we're making. If you encounter any fatui, why, take them out. I have every confidence in your abilities. Cheers? Okay, we're gonna go to a waypoint that's higher up, I guess? Just so we don't have to climb all that way. I don't know if this is higher up, I'm hoping it is. Save us a bit of energy. I would literally rather run than climb. Where? I'll have to remind myself to come back here, because I'm sure I'll remember. I won't bother you if you don't bother me, buddy. It's like a wasp. Okay, where's the thing I'm supposed to be looking at? Here. Should I take a picture with my camera?
First, get into.
Thank you for teaching me how to dance, Nilu, but now's not really the time. Let's get rid of that. That was bugging me. Did you find the device? Yes, and I took a picture of it. Let me take a look. Good, good. Hasn't suffered too much damage. If all the other emergency systems are working normally, most of the energy circuits inside the device should have been cut off already. That I would consider great fortune, even amidst our many miseries. I have a few more preparations to make, and I also need to give the problems we face here at Mikage Furnace some thought. Come find me after a while. We still have a lot of work to do here. Well, that's part 1. I will come back to part 2 in the next one. So I hope you enjoyed this little dip of our toe into Fatui's latest plot. and I will see you in the next one. Bye.